My beloved child, there are things in your life that should not be hastily thrown away, simply because they bear the marks of being chipped. And there are also things that should not be kept merely because you have grown too accustomed to their presence. I want you to learn this gentle wisdom. Not every crack is a sign of the end, but not every broken thing has been entrusted to you to repair with your own strength. There are vessels that, once mended, become deeper and more meaningful, because the places once broken now become marks of patience, forgiveness, and love refined through trial. But there are also vessels that have become the very source of wounds, cutting your hands each time you try to hold them close. When that happens, letting go is not coldness. It is the way you honor the gift of life I have placed within you. I do not want you to live by the extremes of fear, either throwing everything away the moment it hurts, or clinging tightly to everything, even while it drains you. A mature heart does not only know how to love, it also knows how to discern. It does not close the door to every possibility of restoration, but neither does it keep the door open forever to what continually brings harm. Let the illumination I place within you lead you with peace, not panic. When a relationship still contains sincerity, repentance, and the possibility of being watered with patience and growing again through pure love, you may remain and cultivate it. But when that place has become only a cycle of pain, of promises without change, of exhaustion that draws you farther and farther from the peace I give, then learn to leave with gentleness. Do not slam the door in resentment, but close it with awareness. Remember the story of Abraham and Lot. There was a time when the two walked together, journeying through the same land and carrying what had been given to them. But when conflict between the two sides grew greater, Abraham did not hold Lot back through control or fear of loss. He allowed Lot to choose his direction, while he himself remained in trust toward me. Do you see? Sometimes, peace does not come from trying to keep everyone beside you, but from believing that I can still lead you, even when someone else takes a different path. Abraham did not lose the promise because he released Lot. On the contrary, after that separation, I continued to expand his vision. Some farewells are not the failure of love, but the necessary space for my promise to be revealed more clearly in your life. So do not let your heart be imprisoned between two fears, the fear of losing someone and the fear of being hurt again. Bring everything before me. Let me touch the memories you still long for, the conversations you still wish had gone differently, the relationships you do not know whether to mend or close. I do not lead you through confusion. I do not speak to you through the noise of pressure. My voice often comes like gentle light, shining upon what you have tried to avoid seeing. I will help you recognize where more mercy is needed and where boundaries are needed, which seed must be watered, and which dry branch must be cut away, so the tree of your life may continue to flourish. You do not need to know everything in one night, but you do need to be honest enough not to call clinging love, and not to call running away wisdom. Beyond the things you can see, I also want you to learn to treasure the quiet things. This world often honors what can be measured, displayed, and touched immediately. It makes you think that what is not dazzling before your eyes is insignificant, that what receives no applause has no value, and that what brings no instant results is merely vague. But my child, the deepest things often grow in hidden places. Your silent prayer is not weak. Your faith is not naivety. Your hope is not a blindfold against reality. It is a sacred breath that keeps you standing when everything visible begins to shake. It is the underground spring that nourishes the tree in the dry season. It is the small lamp kept burning through the long night, so you do not forget that dawn is still coming. When you nurture those unseen things, your life will gain a depth the world cannot buy with fame, wealth, or fleeting admiration. You will no longer be easily swept away by false brilliance, because within you there is already a more enduring light. You will no longer panic when the outer season becomes cold, because you know that beneath the silent soil, life is still being preserved. You will no longer despair when you have not yet seen fruit, because you understand that a seed needs time in darkness before it rises above the ground. I teach you to look beyond what is presently visible, to listen more deeply than what is loud, and to set your heart on values that do not fade with time. Then each step you take will no longer be an escape from loss, but a journey into a life that is steady, spacious, and filled with holy love. But you must also stay awake, because the world will not stop bargaining with your heart. It will come to you with very soft whispers that being noticed is more important than being at peace, that a love that hurts you is still worth keeping if it makes you feel needed, that you must seize everything today, or you will be left behind forever. It will make the temporary look like destiny, make fleeting recognition look like true worth, and make passing desires look like great promises. But I say to you, do not trade the eternal for a moment that shines brightly and then goes out. Do not give the deepest and most precious parts of you to hands that do not know how to cherish them. Do not let your heart, which I have guarded with everlasting love, become a dwelling place for things that were never created to protect it. Your heart is tender, but it is not common. It knows pain, but it does not deserve to be used. It knows how to love, but that does not mean it must open the door to everything. I have placed within you the ability to feel, to hope, to trust, and to begin again. Therefore, you must learn to guard it like a holy garden. Not everyone is allowed to trample that ground. Not every voice has the right to sow seeds there. Not every invitation comes from life. Bring your heart back into my hands, for only I know how to keep it without suffocating it, heal it without frightening it, and lead it without forcing it. In my hands, you do not lose your gentleness. You are made strong while remaining pure, able to love while staying awake, able to let go without bitterness, able to stay without destroying yourself. So today, walk more slowly and listen. Whatever needs to be repaired, let me teach you to repair it with humility. Whatever needs to be released, let me help you release it with peace. Whatever is invisible yet precious, continue to nurture it with quiet faithfulness. Do not let the world price your worth with its noise. Do not let loneliness make you accept things that wear you down. Do not let the fear of being left behind make you chase what does not belong to you. I am your Father, and I do not only want you to exist. I want you to live deeply, live purely, live freely, and live in a steadfast love that does not need to beg. Set your heart upon me, and you will realize that what truly belongs to life will not destroy you, but will help you bloom in my light. My beloved child, before you learned to hide your pain behind a smile, I had already seen you. Before you became afraid that the unhealed parts of you would cause you to be rejected, I had already called your name with mercy. The things you keep buried deep in your heart, the memories you do not want anyone to touch, the dark places you once thought would make you unlovable if they were exposed, all of them have already been before my eyes. But my child, my complete knowledge of you does not lessen my love. On the contrary, it is precisely in the place where you think you are hardest to love that I draw near with unchanging tenderness. I did not choose you because you were free from every scratch. I did not call you because you had finished everything that needed to be repaired. I chose you because my love was set upon you before you even knew who you were, and what I have appointed for you is not canceled, simply because you have tender and fragile days. There were times when you thought I only blessed those who were always strong, always steady, always knowing what to say and what to do in every circumstance. But that is not the way I love. I do not stand far away, waiting for you to make yourself worthy before I open my arms. I do not place your destiny on the fragile foundation of emotions, achievements, or outward perfection. What I have placed within you is anchored in my faithfulness. You may waver, but I do not waver. You may feel confused, but I do not lose the way. You may pass through seasons when you doubt the calling upon your life, but that calling does not grow weak, simply because your heart trembles. What I have spoken over you is not a passing word in the wind, but a heavenly seed sown into the earth, so that, in its appointed season, it will rise, even if the soil was once dry, even if the rain was delayed, even if you once thought everything was lost. Therefore, do not let your falls become the sentence you pronounce over your own life. I saw in advance even the days when you would want to hide, the moments when you would be so weary that you could no longer believe in yourself, and the times when you would turn away from the very thing you once prayed for. And still, I chose you, not in ignorance, and not because I failed to see all that you would go through. I knew, and still I loved. I saw, and still I called. I understood every limitation within you, and still I placed in you a purpose no one can steal. There is no morning when I awaken and regret loving you. There is no night when I look upon you in tears and change my mind about my promise. My love is not a lamp flickering in the wind. It is a steadfast holy fire, warming even the places you thought had long grown cold. Remember Gideon, who once hid in a secret place because of fear, threshing wheat in a winepress, like someone who did not believe he could rise up against the darkness covering his people. He did not see anything in himself worthy of being called courageous. He spoke of the smallness of his clan, of his lowly position, of every reason why he could not become the one sent out. But I did not call him according to the way he saw himself. I called him according to what I had placed within him. I did not wait until he felt brave before I sent him. I called him in the midst of his fear, then used my very presence to turn the place of trembling into the beginning of victory. Do you see, beloved child? I am not limited by the way you evaluate yourself. When I call you to rise, it is not because you no longer fear, but because I am with you. And my presence is great enough to do what you cannot do by your own strength. In the same way, I am removing from you the old garments that the world has placed upon you. The words of criticism that once repeated themselves again and again in your mind will no longer rule over you. The cold looks that once caused you to shrink back will gradually lose their power. The labels others placed on you, weak, not good enough, delayed, failed, hard to love, will be peeled away by me, layer by layer. I did not raise you up so you could live under the judgment of the crowd. I did not create you so you would bow your head before comparison. I did not call you so you would keep asking permission from those who cannot see what I see in you. I am tearing down the invisible walls that have kept you imprisoned in an old image, so you can step out of fear with a boldness that does not come from arrogance, but from knowing you are loved, called, and kept. The things that once silenced you will not be able to choke your voice forever. The memories that once made you retreat will no longer guide the rhythm of your steps. I am placing within you a new steadfastness. Quiet, yet deep, unshowy, yet enduring. You will learn to stand before people without losing your peace. You will learn to hear my voice louder than every word of rejection. You will learn to keep walking even when not everyone understands. Because you are no longer living to be approved by everyone, but living in the certainty that I have known you, loved you, and sent you. When your heart is anchored in me, praise will not intoxicate you. Criticism will not destroy you. Delay will not plunge you into despair, and misunderstanding will not make you forget who you are. Perhaps you still look at the cracks within yourself and wonder how anything good could flow from them. But I say to you, the very places that were once broken can become openings through which light passes. The parts of yourself you once felt ashamed of do not have to be places you hide from forever. In my hands, they can become testimonies of restoration. I do not deny what you have gone through, but I do not allow it to define you. I do not erase your story as though it never existed. I redeem it, cleanse it, place new meaning upon it, and then use it to reveal my kindness to those who are also quietly carrying wounds like the ones you once carried. What the world calls marks of failure, I can turn into signs of grace. What once made you lower your face, I can transform into the place where you lift your head in humility and gratitude. So, my child, stop living as though you must constantly prove you are worthy of being chosen. You have already been chosen. Stop waiting until you are perfect before believing that I can use you. I am using the whole process to shape you into someone softer, deeper, and purer. Stop thinking that your weakness disappoints me. I do not despise the trembling child who returns to me. I embrace, lift up, and teach that child to walk again from the beginning. From today, invisible chains will no longer have the right to name you. The fear of rejection will no longer sit on the throne of your heart. Comparison will no longer write the laws of your life. I am pouring into you a holy courage, a gentle boldness that cannot be subdued, so you may enter what I have prepared with your head lifted and your heart at rest. I am your father, and a father does not abandon his child halfway along the road. I do not call you out of darkness and then leave you to grope your way alone. I do not open a door before you and then stand at a distance to see whether you are strong enough to pass through it. I go before you, I walk with you, and I strengthen you from within through my nearness. Believe that what I have begun in you will not be left unfinished. Believe that the word I have spoken over your life will bear fruit in the proper season. Believe that you are not the old version that pain once tried to imprison. You are a beloved child, restored, called by a new name in my light. And when you step out of fear, you will realize that what once bound you has lost its power, while my love remains forever steadfast. My beloved child, you are looking at your life through eyes limited to each moment. And so there are times when you think everything is only a tangled mess that cannot be undone. You see chaotic beginnings, middle seasons full of questions, and events that interrupt as though your story has been broken away from its good direction. But I want you to listen deeply to this. You are not the final author of your life. I am the one holding the pen. The pages you are reading are not the ending. The lines over which you are weeping are not the final verdict. What you call failure may be the place where I am quietly laying the foundation for a greater restoration. What you think is loss may be the doorway I use to lead you out of what no longer fits the promise appointed for you. You see only a stretch of the road, while I see the whole journey. You hear only the wind of tonight, while I have already heard the song that will rise in the morning. So do not let your heart draw conclusions about yourself too soon. There are chapters of your life that, if viewed alone, appear full of cracks. But, when placed in my hands, they become testimonies of grace. I do not waste a single tear of yours. I do not allow your mistakes to become a pit that swallows your future. I can use the place where you fell to teach you to stand more firmly. Use what once made you ashamed to form a beautiful humility within you, and use the ashes of what has burned down to create a beauty that does not borrow from the world. The adversary may think that when you are weary, your story has ended. But I can use that very moment to reveal that my power does not need a perfect beginning in order to create a glorious ending. I am not afraid of what has broken within you. I know how to gather each fragment, cleanse each wound, and build a foundation that future storms will not easily shake. Perhaps right now you long to see the whole road, to know why that thing happened, why that door closed, why you had to pass through long days without clear answers. But my child, I do not require you to understand everything before you can continue walking. I only invite you to place your foot upon the next step I illuminate. One small step in trust is more precious than a long journey filled with panic. When you are weak, you do not need to pretend to be strong. I will be the strength beneath you. When you lose your way, you do not need to curse yourself. I will light the path just enough for today. When you cannot hear guidance, I will not become angry with you. I will repeat it gently, through signs of peace, through holy promptings in the hidden place, through timely encounters, through silences that help you realize I have never left. Remember the story of Joseph, the son of Jacob, who once carried a dream from me but had to pass through a pit, chains, false accusation, and years of being forgotten. If one looked only at the pit where his brothers left him, it might have seemed that the dream had died. If one looked only at the prison, it might have seemed that the promise had turned to dust. But I was writing an ending no one in his father's house could have imagined. Where others sold him away, I opened a path to bring him into a position prepared for the saving of an entire people. Where he was forgotten, I still remembered. Where he was brought low, I was refining him for the day he would be lifted up. Do you see? What I write does not always follow a straight line, but no part of it lies outside my wisdom. In the same way, the places you think are delays may be rooms of preparation. The things you think are rejection may be consecration. The seasons you think are burial may be the moments when the seed within you quietly breaks open so that one day it may rise. Do not compare your pace with another person's journey. Some bloom early like flowers in the field. Others I cultivate deep in hidden valleys before they are seen beneath the sun. You look around and see others moving forward, being recognized, receiving open doors, while you are still wrestling with old remains, fears that have not yet faded, and questions that have not yet been answered. But I do not measure your worth by speed. I do not judge maturity by outward applause. I do not build what is precious in haste. Enduring works all begin with deep foundations, and the deeper the foundation, the more necessary the hidden season becomes. I am working within you in places others cannot see. In the way you learn patience, in the moments when you forgive, and no one knows. When you choose to stand again, though your heart still trembles. When you ask for guidance instead of running after noise. You are not late, my child. You have not been left behind. You have not lost your place, simply because you are moving more slowly than you once hoped. My timing is not pressured by human schedules. I know when a bud needs to remain closed in order to be nourished longer. and I also know when to call it to open in its proper season. What I am doing within you is not a superficial repair, but a restoration from the inside out. I am removing old foundations built on fear, on the approval of others, on the habit of belittling yourself. I am placing within you a different kind of steadiness, one that does not come from praise, does not disappear because of criticism, and is not swept away by temporary upheavals. When my work is completed in this season, you will not only walk with outward strength, but you will carry within you a deep peace that cannot easily be stolen. I am your Father, and my fatherly love does not change according to your circumstances. A true father does not abandon his child when that child has not yet understood the way home. How much more will I not abandon you? I, the one who breathed life into you, placed conscience within you, and sowed secret dreams in you that even you sometimes fear to name. You are not an accident drifting through life. You were shaped by loving hands, marked with the imprint of heaven, and placed in this time with a meaning no one else can replace. The things you see as small within yourself, I can use as openings for something great. The things you once saw as weakness, I can transform into places where my gentleness and power shine. No detail within you is unnecessary when it is placed in my hands. Therefore, let your heart rest in this truth. I am still writing. I am writing even when you are silent. I am writing even when you do not know how to pray. I am writing in the days when you think you are merely existing. And the new song I place upon your life will not sound like the old song of sorrow, fear, and self-doubt. It will carry the tone of restoration, mercy, and of a child who once passed through deep night, but was let out beneath the dawn. You are the instrument I have chosen, not because you have no scratches, but because in my hands, even those scratches can resound with the sound of grace. Take one more step, even if it is small. I am there. I go before you to open the way, beside you to uphold you, and within you to remind you that you have never been alone on this journey. There are seasons when you think that only after you have done enough, tried long enough, and endured enough pain, are you allowed to rest. You have turned peace into a distant reward, as though you must surpass every limit within yourself before you deserve to stop. But my child, I did not create you to live like a lamp that burns until its oil is gone before seeking the source of light. Rest is not something I give you only after you are exhausted. It is a gift I have already placed along your journey. I do not want you to wait until your heart is dry before remembering that I am the stream. I do not want you to drag yourself through lonely wastelands before realizing that I have always been your refuge. From the beginning, I have stretched out my arms. From the beginning, I have called you near. From the beginning, I have prepared a holy stillness where you can lay down every burden that does not belong to you. Many times, what makes you weary is not the work you are doing, but the things you refuse to release. You hold on to the gaze of others as though it has the right to define your worth. You hold on to expectations, afraid that slowing down even once will disappoint someone. You hold on to old judgments, past mistakes, and shame that I have wanted many times to wash clean from your life. You even hold on to control, though your hands are trembling from carrying too much. You try to embrace everything, yet forget to let me embrace you. You try to keep everything from falling apart, yet forget that I am the one who upholds the foundation of your life. You think you must hold tightly in order to be safe, but you do not realize that when you open your hands, my grace finally has room to place within them what you could never create on your own. Remember Elijah on the day he sat alone beneath the tree after great victories, yet with a heart so depleted he no longer wanted to continue. I did not rebuke him for being tired. I did not stand before him demanding another great task, another powerful declaration, another proof of faithfulness. I let him sleep. I sent an angel to bring him bread and water. I touched his weakness with tenderness, not pressure. Then afterward, I led him to a quiet place so he could recognize that my voice does not always come in the whirlwind, the earthquake, or the fire, but sometimes as a gentle whisper touching the deepest place within a person. Do you see, beloved child? There are times when the holiest thing you can do is not run faster, but lie still in my care. There are times when obedience does not take the shape of a great step forward, but of the humility that allows me to nourish you again from the beginning. So tonight, you do not need to make another plan to save tomorrow. You do not need to construct hundreds of scenarios in your mind, nor do you need to blame yourself for not being able to make everything perfect. Tomorrow was in my hands before it ever touched yours. The things you fear I have seen long ago. The doors you think are closed forever, I know when they must be opened. The paths you no longer have the strength to search for, I can still illuminate, step by step. What I desire from you in this moment is not strain, but trust. Not a promise that you will try harder, but one honest breath. I need you. That alone is enough for heaven to draw nearer to you. You have grown used to thinking that surrender before me is a sign of failure. But I say to you that surrender is not defeat. It is the moment when you stop fighting by your own strength, so my gentle power can begin to do what you cannot. When you stop trying to prove you are worthy, you will hear more clearly my voice calling you beloved. When you stop trying to please everyone, you will feel the pure joy of living according to what I have placed within you. When you stop punishing yourself for your very real limits, you will realize that I have never despised your fragility. I know what you are made of. I know where you still hurt. I know which part of you needs healing, not pressure. I do not draw near to you to place more burdens upon your shoulders. I come to untie each knot within your heart, to remind you that you do not have to hold up the entire sky by yourself. I am the one who set the stars in their places, and I am also the one who knows exactly where you are tonight. If I do not allow a single star to wander from its appointed order, would I ever let you fall from my loving sight? You are not forgotten in the darkness. You are not abandoned in the silent room where you sit. You are not an unnamed sigh in a vast world. You are known, called by name, guarded and covered by mercy that never runs dry. Lay it down, my child. Lay down the fear that you are not good enough. Lay down the habit of blaming yourself whenever you need rest. Lay down the thought that you must always shine brightly in order to be loved. Even if you are only a small trembling spark in the night, I will not extinguish you. I will shield that flame from harsh winds, add fresh oil, and warm again the places that have grown cold. You do not need to know every answer right now. You only need to return to me. Let my presence become a blanket over your anxieties. Let my peace settle like morning dew into every crack. Let my love speak on behalf of all the things you are not yet strong enough to say. And when dawn comes, you will not step out like someone being pushed into a new battle, but like a child lifted up by the Father. I will not give you a day without walking with you through it. I will not call you onto a path where my grace is not enough to sustain you. So tonight, rest in me. Let your heart stop running. Let your shoulders stop carrying what is too heavy. Let your tears, if they come, fall in the safety of my arms. I am not ashamed of you. I am not disappointed in you. I am still here, gentle, patient, steadfast, and I will remain until you remember this again. You do not need to prove that you are worthy of love, because from before the ages, you have already been loved by me.